This video will show you how to compute a new variable, actually a composite measure based on several questions. And we'll also take a look at how you can select cases particular to your area of interest. Here's some old data on television viewing that I collected a few years ago. And you'll see that in the first couple of columns we have a variable for gender and for age. We're going to use age to select some cases. But first I want to create a new variable. Based on a reliability coefficient that I created called Cronbach's alpha, of the 6 predictors of why people watch TV, we found that if you just took the last 5, you could get a Cronbach alpha of 0.76, which is a pretty reliable measure. This composite measure can be used as a single variable. The way we create a new variable is to click on the Transform menu and go to Compute Variable. In this case, I have a new variable I want to create. So let's call it gratification. I'm using this loosely to represent gratifications obtained through some media activity. If I resize this window, I can go find my gratifications obtained. They are labeled Grat1, Grat2, Grat3, Grat4, Grat5, Grat6. There was a 7th one that I did not use. I'm going to sum then into this new variable gratification 2, and by clicking it into the numeric expression I can plus it with gratification 3, plus it with gratification 4, plus gratification 5, plus gratification 6. I can also create an optional case selection condition, but I'm going to save that for later. In this case, when I click on OK, SPSS sums all the variables. If I scroll all the way to the right, my new variable is in the column labeled gratification, and the range of the variable is higher because it's additive. In my method section, I can describe the mean and standard deviation of my new composite measure. I would also be careful to point out that the alpha was 0.76 for these 5 variables, combined into one. You can see in a couple of these cases there's no value. That's because for one of those 5 measures that comprise gratification, there was a missing value. If we just want to look at the cases of people who are in their 30s, for example, we now go to the Data menu and go down to Select Cases. All cases are selected by default. I'm going to click on the If Condition is Satisfied button and choose If. To build my formula, I move the age variable and say that it has to be greater than 29. And I can type these rather than clicking on the keypad. And then I want it also to be true that it's less than 40. So I use the and I can just type age this time because that's the name of the variable, and type less than 40. So I only want cases where people are 30 through 39, that is greater than 29 and less than 40. When I click on continue, I see what the condition is and I click on OK. If I look all the way to on the right-hand side of my variables, I see a filter variable, filter underline $sign. Not sure why it's called that, but it shows me that here's a condition with a 1 that met that, here's a condition, here's a bunch of zeros for people who must have fallen outside that age range. If I scroll all the way back to the left and look at the ages, sure enough, the first 6 people, 24, 56, 51, 45, 40, 52, fell outside that range. And so they're visually crossed out. Now the data is still in all the columns, but when you run a test, it's going to ignore the cases that are crossed out. So I can see case number 7, they're in their 30s, cases 9, 10, and 11, they're in their 30s, and so forth. This is a way to automatically select cases. If I were to just do descriptive frequencies on age, for example, I would get cumulative percentages of just those people between the ages of 30 and 39, which is a subset of the people that I used in this study. I hope that explains how to compute a variable and how to select cases. That's all for now.